For this project, any category 4 yarn will work, but I used 3/4 of a skein of Lion Brand's Pound of Love in aquamarine and a 1/4 skein of elephant gray. As for tools, a 4 and a 6mm hook, scissors, stitch markers, and a tape measure. There's a written pattern down below. Use offer code TCDDIY for a discount. Watch to the end of the video to learn how to enter this week's giveaway. We're using 3 stitches for this project, and they will be as follows. Chain, single crochet, half double crochet, and herringbone stitch. This tutorial is for a size small, but you can adjust it for your size, and we explain how to in the video, so let's get started. Getting started on this cardigan, we're first going to grab our category 4 yarn, make a slip knot, grab our 6mm hook, and start off by making a chain that goes from our shoulder down to where we want this first panel to be, and so I'm going to make a chain of 70, where that comes out to 21 inches or 53 centimeters. Now that we have our chain, what we're going to do from here is block off that last chain, do a chain up of 2 that counts as a half double. We're going to prepare for a half double, then insert our hook into that loop that we blocked off, or the third loop from our hook, with a half double. And from here we're just going to go all the way down our chain, putting 1 half double into every loop. So we've just made it all the way down with our first row, and now what we're going to do from here is start doing our decreases. So how we do that, we're going to do a chain up of 2 that counts as a half double crochet. We're going to flip our work. We're going to prepare for a half double crochet, and then into these first 2 back loops we're going to be doing our decrease. So into this first back loop we're going to insert our hook, yarn over, pull through, into the next back loop, insert, yarn over, pull through. We should have 4 loops on our hook. From here we're going to yarn over, pull through all 4, and that is how we decrease. That is our first back loop decrease of 2. And once when we have that, we're going to be going all the way down, just putting 1 back loop half double crochet all the way down. Once we make it down to this end, we are going to be keeping this end blunt, so what we're going to do is do a chain up of 2, flip our work, and then work back down with back loop half double crochets. And then once we get back down to this decrease end, we're going to leave the last 3 loops because we're going to be doing a decrease into the third and second to last, and then a regular half double into that last. I'll meet you guys back once we make our way back down to this end. And we are back. We have just made our way all the way down with our third row, leaving the last 3 loops, and we're going to be doing our decreases together. So just lighting a little bit. Once when we get here into the third and second to last, we're going to be doing our decrease of 2 back loop double crochets. So yarn over, insert into that third to last, yarn over, pull through. Into that second to last, yarn over, pull through. We should have 4 loops, not 3, 4 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over, pull through all 4. Once when we have that, prepare for a half double crochet, and then put 1 half double crochet into that last loop. And then the way that I'm doing it is optional. You guys can put your back loop double crochet decreases just in the last 2 loops. But with the detail that we're going to go in with, we're going to have to go in with single crochets, and I actually don't like it when single crochets try to grab onto this decrease, because then it ends up pulling it and then there leaves a gap. So this part is completely up to you guys, whatever is easier or whatever you guys are used to. But other than that, it's pretty much the same thing. We're just going to do a chain up of 2, flip our work, prepare for a half double crochet, go into that first back loop, insert, pull through, next loop, insert, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 4. We are going to be doing decreases only on this side, putting back loop half double crochets all the way down. Once we get down to this blunt end, keep it blunt, so don't do any decreases. Do a chain up of 2, flip our work, and then do back loop half double crochets back down. And we're going to keep going back and forth like this until we have a size that can fit from where the front of our cardigan is going to be to mid underarm. So I'm actually going to keep going until I have about 16 rows or 6.5 inches or 17 centimeters. And then I'll meet you guys back in the next clip to show you guys what it looks like. Now that we are all finished up with one of our front panels, we're actually going to make a second that is exactly the same. And then once when we have our second panel, now we can start working on the back, which is going to be fairly simple. For the first 2 rows, we're only going to be doing a decrease, and the rest of that is going to be solid back loop half double crochets. But how we start that off is by counting out the short side of our front panel, because this is where our back is going to be, counting out the same amount of loops that we have, and then making a chain of that same number count. So I have 55 loops for that shorter side of our front panel, so I'm going to start off by making a chain of 55. Now that we have our chain, we're going to block off that last chain, do a chain up of 2 that counts as a half double. We're going to prepare for a half double, Then insert our hook into that loop that we blocked off, or the third chain from our hook, with a regular half double. And from here, we're going to keep doing half doubles all the way down until we have just 3 loops left, because we are going to be doing a decrease into the third and second to last. And then from there, we're going to be doing another row of decrease, and then we'll move on from there. We've made it all the way down our chain, and we have left the last 3 chains because we're going to be doing a decrease into the third and second to last. So how we're going to start this off is prepare for a half double, insert our hook into that third to last loop, yarn over, pull through, into that second to last, yarn over, pull through all 4, that is our decrease, and then from here, we just have 1 regular half double crochet into that last loop, and then that is our decrease for this portion. We're going to be doing 1 more row of decreasing, so let's do that together. We're going to do a chain up of 2, flip our work, prepare for a half double crochet, and then into that first back loop, we're going to insert, pull through, second back loop, insert, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 4. And then from here, we're just going to keep doing back loop half double crochets going all the way down our chain, and then also making sure that this portion that we have goes across our back as well. And then I'll meet you guys back when we are ready to just add in our last 2 rows for this portion, because we're going to have to add the 2 rows of increases so that it matches these decreases that we have around here, so that it can match our front panel. So go ahead and do that. In the next clip, I'll let you guys know how many rows I have. So we have made our way back around, and we have finished going in with the main portion of our back. And what we're going to do from here is just do 2 rows of increases to match these 2 rows of decreases that we have on the side. You guys just want to make sure that your decreases and your increases are on the same side, because it's pretty subtle. But what you guys want to do from here, depending on where you ended, you're either going to start off with doing an increase of 2 back loop half double crochet, or if you're like me, you're going to go all the way back down with back loop half double crochet, leaving the last loop so that we can do an increase together. But either way, I will be working my way down, and then I'll meet you guys back in the next clip to show you guys how to do an increase of 2 back loop half double crochets. So I've made it all the way down to my last back loop that we have right here, and all we're going to do is do an increase of 2 back loop half double crochets. So this is pretty simple. All we're going to do is go into that last loop with 1 half double, and then 2 half double. And once when I have my increase of 2 into this row, what we're going to do is do 1 more row of increases, unless if you guys have more decreases on the other side, then you guys are going to want to make sure that that is even. But once when we get here, we have our chain up of 2, we're going to prepare for a half double crochet, and then go into this first back loop with 2 back loop half double crochets, and that is our increase for this row. And then from here, we're just going to go all the way down with back loop half double crochets. Once when I reach my end, I'm going to do a chain up of 1 and cut, and then I can attach the front panels onto this back. So we just finished up going in with our back piece, and the next thing we're going to do is attach our front panels. And the first thing we're going to want to do before we get to actually attaching them is making sure that the blunt sides are on the top together, and also making sure that this shorter end that we have is along the outside so that it matches where we started doing our increases or decreases, depending on what side you're going into for your back portion. But other than that, the first thing we're going to do is just go across with single crochet across our shoulder portion first. So what we're going to do is grab our same 6mm hook, insert that into this corner loop, and then also into the corner loop for the back panel. We're going to make a slip knot, insert that onto our hook, and then we're going to pull through, chain up 1 to secure. Once when we have that, we're going to be putting just 1 single crochet into each of these side half double crochets, making sure that we're going in through the front and the back panel at the same time. So let's just do the first few together. This is the first side half double crochet that we have, so we're going to insert into this front panel, and then find this next side single crochet into the back panel, and then find this next side half double crochet, and then insert that, and then from here single crochet. Once when we have that, we have our first section all pinned up. So let's do just 1 more together. Into this next side half double crochet, insert, and in through the back piece, next side half double crochet, insert, and then single crochet. We're just going to keep doing this all the way across until we don't have any more of these loops left to go into, and then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Alrighty, so we have just finished up seaming up this little shoulder chunk that we have right here, shoulder chunk that we have right here. And then now we're going to try this on and figure out where we want our armholes to be. I want my sleeves to be a little bit thinner, so I did insert my stitch marker into the 21st loop, or that is about 7 inches or 18 centimeters from the top. and that is a fairly thin and skinny sleeve, but you guys can make it longer, shorter, whatever you guys want. Or if you guys are coming in from the bottom, I have 35 single crochets marked off. But when we have this, all we're going to do is the same thing that we did up here. We're going to take our same 6mm hook, insert our hook into that corner, and then insert our hook into that back panel's corner, insert our yarn onto our hook, pull through. When we have that, we're just going to single crochet going all the way up until we hit our stitch marker, do a chain up of 1 and cut, and then do the same thing on the other side. Okay, so we are all back with a very cute vest. We could leave it like this if we wanted, but we are not going to for tutorial sake. What we're going to do now is start working on the bottom detail, but the first thing we're going to have to do is go in with a row of single crochet just to clean up the bottom a little bit, so that once we go in with our secondary color, that is also just as clean. So what we're going to do is insert our hook into any one of the bottom corners, doesn't quite matter which one. Insert our yarn onto our hook, pull through, do a chain up of 1 to secure. And then once we have this, we're going to go all the way around the front panel to the back, all the way around to this front panel. But this is all going to be with a row of single crochets, and we're going to be alternating between 1 single crochet to 2, 1, 2. And so let's just get that first sequence started together. Let's insert our hook into that first side half double and go in with just 1 single crochet. Once we have that, we're going to go into this next side half double with 2 single crochets. So let's do that together. There's 1. There's 2. Once we have that, our next side half double is 1 single crochet. And the one after that is 2 single crochet. There's 1. There's 2. And then just keep alternating just like that, going all the way across, down our back, across our back, and then down to this front panel, and then I'll meet you guys back. So we've just finished up going in with our single crochets along the entirety of our bottom that we have. And the next thing we're going to have to do is a little unconventional, but stick with me for a second. Go ahead and try this on, and then you're going to measure out from the bottom of our vest, that's what we're going to call it for now, from the bottom of our vest down to where we want the bottom of the lapel to be, because that's going to be the chain length that we're going to need to make with our secondary color right now. I have went ahead and already measured mine out. I'm going to go ahead and start off by making a chain of 15, or that comes out to about 4 inches or 10 centimeters. Now, when we have our chain, we're going to be inserting it into one of these corner loops. It doesn't matter which one, because we're going to go around the entire thing anyways. So we're going to insert, going to yarn over, pull through everything, and then from here we're going to go all the way across, just putting 1 single crochet into every single crochet that we already have, making our way down to this end. Once we make our way down to this end, we're going to be making another chain of however many chains we started off with on this side, because we do need our lapels to be the same length. So I'm going to go all the way around, come all the way down here, and then I'll meet you guys back so I can do my chain out of 15. So I've just made it all the way around with our little lapel length that we have, this little 15-inch chain that we have on both sides. And then when we have this, we can go in with our bottom herringbone border. So all that is just doing herringbones. But when we get to this little corner that we have right here, we're going to be doing a decrease of 3 herringbone stitches right here. But other than that, we're going to go all the way around with herringbone, another decrease right here, then herringbone down. So let's get that started together. We're going to block off that last chain. Do a chain up to 2, that counts as a half double crochet. We're going to prepare for a herringbone stitch and then insert our hook into that loop that we just blocked off, or the third loop from our hook. We're going to insert our hook into there. We should have 3 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over, pull through 1. Once we get here, we should have 3 loops on our hook. We're going to pull that first strand underneath our second strand, but if it's a little tough like that, you are more than welcome to grab that middle strand and then just pull that over that first strand that's right next to the hook. Once we have that, we're going to yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2. Let's do this again together. Prepare for a herringbone stitch, which is just a yarn over, go into that next loop, yarn over, pull through that loop. We should have 3 loops on our hook. We're going to pull that first strand. Let's try that again. We're going to pull that first strand underneath our second strand, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2. We're going to keep doing this all the way down until we get to the loop that is right before this first loop that we have that's connected into the body. Then we're going to be doing a decrease of 1, 2, and 3 herringbone stitches. So I'll meet you guys back in just a little bit. So we've just done our herringbone stitches going up our chain. We left the last loop. we now have the first loop that we have that's going into the body and then the second loop right here. So what we're going to do is yarn over, insert into that last loop that we have into our chain, yarn over, pull through. We may have to twist our work a little bit, but then we're going to go into that next available loop that we have, which is the first loop that's going into the body, insert, pull through, and then into that next loop as well, insert, pull through. Once when we have this, we should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 loops on our hook. We're going to take that first loop and then pull it underneath those next 3. So we're going to pull through 1, 2, 3, 2 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2. And then from there, we're just going to go all the way down doing herringbone stitches until we get to the same spot on the other side down here. Do another decrease of 3 into 1, 2, 3, and then continue doing your herringbones down, and then I'll meet you guys back once we get to the end of this row. Once we made our way all the way down with our first row of herringbone stitches where we did decreases of 3 into each of these corners, every other row is going to have a decrease of 3. So since we're working into the next row of herringbone stitches and the previous one had a decrease of 3, this one will not. So all we're going to do is do a chain up of 2 that counts as a half double. We're going to prepare for a herringbone, go into that first stitch, yarn over, pull through, pull that first loop underneath our second loop, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2, and then keep doing regular herringbone stitches going all the way down, no decrease into this second row, and keep going all the way around once we reach this end. Once we get over here, we're going to do a chain up of 2, flip our work, and then since we're working our way back, we will be doing a decrease of 3 into this section, and then keep going back and forth just like that until we get the length that we want for this little bottom herringbone band. And I'm going to keep going for a total of 6 rows or 2.5 inches or 6 centimeters. So we are back and we have just finished up going in with our bottom herringbone row, and just to let you guys know, I went in with a total of 6 rows, not including the first single crochet row, just 6 herringbone rows. And then the height of that is a total of 2.5 inches or 6 centimeters. And now we can start working on the sleeve, and I got a little excited and did one sleeve on my own. So now we're going to get started on the other one. And with this one, it's actually going to be a little bit different than we do our regular sleeves. So let's hang out together for just a little bit. Once when we have all this done, go ahead and try this on and then figure out the length of the sleeve that you guys want. Just to let you guys know, I want my sleeve to be about 18 inches or 46 centimeters. So I'm going to start off by making a chain of 60. So I'm going to take my same 6mm hook that we've been using. I'm first going to insert that into this last loop that we have into our seam. And this is going to be where we start off our chain. So I'm going to make a chain of 60. Now that we have our chain up of 60, what we're going to do is block off that last chain, do a chain up of 2 that counts as a half double crochet. We're going to prepare for a half double, and then insert our hook into that loop that we blocked off, or the third loop from our hook. And then from there, we're just going to be putting 1 half double crochet into every chain that we have, going back down, leaving the last chain because we're going to be doing an increase of 2 into there together. We've just made it all the way down with our first row of half double crochets, and we left that last loop for ourselves so that we can do an increase of 2 together. So what we're going to do from here is prepare for a half double, insert our hook into that last loop, and we're going to be putting 1 half double, and then we're going to go in with just more into that same loop, and then that is our increase. Once when we have that, we're going to be taking a look at one side of our armhole. We're going to count up 1 available loop, 2, and then slip stitch into that second to close off this row. Once when we have that, we're going to slip stitch up the next 2 available loops to work our way up to the next row, flip our work, and do back loop half double crochets while maintaining an increase into that first loop that's right next to our armhole slit. So let's do that together. We're going to prepare for a half double, insert, pull through 3, that's our first one, and then into that same back loop, 1 more half double, and that is our increase that's right next to our slit. And then what we're going to do from here is do 1 back loop half double into every loop. Once we make it down to the end, we're going to do a chain up of 2, flip, and then work our way back up. But when we're working our way back up towards our work, for every other row, we're going to be slip stitching into the next available loop and then just slip stitch into the next. And we're doing that because this is a half double, whereas it's right in between a double crochet and a single crochet. So we want to combat either stretching it too much by only going into every other slip stitch, or making it way too big by only going into every single loop that we have. So we'll make our way down, come back up, and then I'll show you guys what to do from there. So we just made our way back down to our third row of our back loop half double crochets, and now we're going to be slip stitching just into the next available loop to close off this row. So how we're going to do that is prepare for a half double, into that last back loop, we're going to be going in with an increase of 2 back loop half doubles, and those are our 2 half doubles. Once when we have that, since we're into our third row, we're going to slip stitch into that next available loop. So we have something in this one, we're going to go up to the next one and close off that row, whereas before we were counting up 2 loops and then slip stitching into the second. And now that we're here, we're going to do the same thing for the next row, just slip stitch up 1 loop, flip our work, and then we're just going to keep alternating like that between counting up 2 loops and slip stitching into the second versus what we just did, which is just slip stitching into the next loop and then slip stitching up just 1 loop to start off the next row. But once when we have that, we're just going to keep working all the way down like that, alternating between 1 loops to 2 where we slip stitch. We're going to keep doing that all the way up until we hit this shoulder seam that we have, and then we can do the same thing that we are doing here but in reverse. So instead of doing increases, we're going to be doing decreases. So I'll meet you guys back once when we work our way all the way up to here, and then we can get started on the next part together. So we've just made our way all the way up to our shoulder seam, and then what we're going to do from here is do the same thing that we're doing here, but instead of increases, we're going to be doing decreases, and we're going to maintain doing the whole slip stitch into the second loop, and then for the next row, slip stitch into the loop after that. So I'm going to leave you guys to that, but just to let you guys know, once when we're going over our shoulder seam, we are going to be inserting our hook into the last loop into our shoulder seam just to eliminate that gap. So once when we're here, this loop is actually attached to the shoulder seam, so we're not going to be working into here. All we're going to do is slip stitch into that next loop that we have that is in our shoulder seam. And then from there, whatever sequence we have next, I am doing the slip stitching into the second loop. So I've skipped 1 loop, and then from here, I'm going to slip stitch into the next 2 loops. Flip my work, and then for this first row when we're going to be doing our decrease, we actually aren't going to be doing any decreases, just so that we can maintain this same amount of loops that we have right here, and then into the loop after, and then into the row after this we are going to be doing our decreases. So from here I'm just going to be putting 1 back loop half double crochet going all the way down, and then I'm going to work my way back, and then I'll show you guys how to do a decrease just once, and then from there we can move on from there. So we've made our way back with our first decrease row, and we left our last 2 loops so that we can do a back loop half double crochet decrease of 2 together. So let's get that started. We're going to prepare for a half double crochet, insert our hook into that second to last loop in this row, yarn over, pull through, then into that last loop into this row, yarn over, pull through. We should have 4 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over, pull through all 4. Once when we have that, since we started off doing our increases with counting up 2 loops and then slip stitching into that second, we're going to start off our decrease row with the same way. So we're going to count up 1, 2, slip stitch into that second to close off this row, and then slip stitch up the next 2 to start up the next row. Flip our work, and since we're here, I guess we might as well do another decrease together. We're going to prepare for a half double crochet, insert our hook into that first back loop, insert, pull through. Once we have that, we're going to go into that next back loop, yarn over, pull through. We should have 4 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over, pull through all 4, and then from here do back loop half double crochets. Once we make it to the end, do a chain up of 2, flip our work, and then do back loop half double crochets until we just have the last 2 loops into the previous row. Do a decrease into those, and then since we're working our way back, when we just previously did a slip stitch into the second row, when we just did a slip stitch into the second loop, since we're doing that, the next one that we're going to do is slip stitch just into that next available loop to close off that row, and then slip stitch up just 1 to start off the next row. And just keep alternating like that while maintaining doing the decreases when we're right next to the base, going all the way down until we don't have any more loops left, and then we'll meet each other back so that we can seam up the bottom of the sleeve together. We just made it all the way around with our sleeve, and we don't have any more loops left to go into our armhole that we have right here. So now all we're going to do is single crochet the entirety of the bottom of our sleeve together. So it's going to be the exact same way that we have seamed up our sides and our shoulder portion as well. And the first thing we're going to want to do is just make sure that all of our seams are facing the same direction. So this is my side seam faced out, and this is my shoulder seam faced out. So let's do this together. Into the bottom of our sleeve, what we're going to do is insert our hook in through the first available loop in the front panel, and also into the next available loop into the back panel, and then single crochet. We're going to do this just one more time, into the next available loop into the front, next available loop into the back, and then single crochet. And then from here, we're just going to keep working our way all the way down until we don't have any more loops left to go into. Once we make our way down here, don't cut and tie because we're going to need to go all the way around with a row of single crochet in with our primary color first. But if you guys are actually working up the other way, go ahead and cut and tie and then reattach your yarn into the base portion of our cuff, and then we'll do that single crochet row together. So now that we've seamed up our entire sleeve, we are now at the base of where our cuff is going to be. So all we're going to need to do is just do a little prep row with our primary color, and then we can go in with another single crochet row with our secondary color. So all we're going to do is just put one single crochet into each side half double crochet, going all the way around because we need this to cinch in just a little bit. So all we're going to do is do a chain up of one, and then into this first side half double, single crochet, next side half double, single crochet. There we go. And we're going to keep doing this all the way around. Once we make it all the way around, we're going to slip stitch into that first single crochet that we made, and then we're going to do a chain up of one and cut, and then we're going to grab our secondary color, and then we're going to go in with our cuff. Now that we've gone in with our first row of single crochet, now we can go in with our secondary color and also for our cuff. So the first thing we're going to do is just insert our hook into any one of these loops that we just made of this single crochet row, insert our secondary color onto here, pull through, do a chain up of one to secure, and then from here, just put one single crochet into every loop that we have going all the way around. Once we meet back with our first single crochet, slip stitch into there, and then from there we're going to work on the cuff length. Now that we've made it all the way around with our row of secondary color with single crochets, now we're going to start working with the length of our cuff. But we will be introducing a smaller size hook just so we can get a little gradual cuff going on, because as you guys can see, this is a little bit bigger and then it tapers in towards the bottom, and this is the look that we want. So what we're going to do from here is first figure out the length of the cuff that we want. So I have already measured mine out, and I have a total of 3.5 inches or 9 centimeters. So I'm going to go in with a total of 14 chains to start this off, but the first 4 of my chains is going to be with my 6mm, and then the last 10 is going to be with my 5mm hook. So let's get that started together. For me, I'm going to go in with 4 chains with my 6. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to take this out, switch out for my 5mm hook, and then I'm going to go in with another 10 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 10. And then this is what I want. Once when I have this, we're going to block off that last chain, do a chain up of 1, and then from here, we're going to insert our hook into that loop that we blocked off, or a second chain from our hook with a slip stitch. So we're going to insert, yarn over, pull through everything. And then since we went in with a chain of 10 with our 5mm hook, we're going to be going in with 10 slip stitches with our 5. So here's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 10. Once when we have reached our 10th slip stitch, we're going to pull a little bit of slack, switch back out for our 6mm hook, and then I should have 1, 2, 3, 4 chains left with our 6. So let's go in with 4 slip stitches with our 6. So there's 1, 2, 3, and then 4. Once when we have that, we are now at the base. We're going to slip stitch into the next available loop to close off this row with our 6. And then from here, we're going to slip stitch into that next available loop to start up our next row. And then from here, we're going to go in with 4 back loop slip stitches with our 6. So into that first back loop with our 6mm hook, there is 1, 2, 3, and then 4. Now that I have my 4, I'm switching out to my 5mm hook, and then going in with 10 back loop slip stitches. Once we reach the end, we're going to do a chain up of 1, flip our work, and then do 10 back loop slip stitches coming back down, switch out for our 6mm hook, and then go in with 4 back loop slip stitches to close this off. And we're just going to keep going back and forth like that all the way around until we don't have any more loops left, and then we'll meet each other back so that we can seam it all up together. So we've just made it all the way around with our cuff, and we don't have any more loops left to go into, so now we're just going to seam this all up together. So all we're going to do is the same way that we've seamed up everything so far. We're just going to insert our hook into that first available loop into the front panel, next available loop into the back panel, and then single crochet. Then keep doing this all the way down. Once you guys get to the end, do a chain up of 1 in cut, and then do the entire sleeve sequence plus the cuff on the other side. And then once we have both sleeves, we can get started on the lapel. Since we're done with the sleeve, the first thing we have to do for the lapel is make sure that everything is flipped right side out, meaning all of our seams are facing the inside. Once we have that, we're going to take a look at the right side first, because we're going to have to be going in through one of the loops, and one of the loops that we're going to be going into is the back loops. So now this is the right side. So once we have that, all we're going to do is go in with our first row of back loop single crochets going all the way around, but into this little corner that we have right here, right in between our herringbone and our body portion, we're just going to be doing a really small increase right here, just so we can combat this little tiny curve that we have, and then we're going to work our way back up with more back loop single crochets. So what we're going to do is take whatever color we want our lapel to be in. Mine is my secondary color. We're going to pull through, do a chain up of 1 to secure, and then going into this first back loop, we're going to insert our hook into that next back loop and single crochet. And we're going to keep doing back loop single crochets until we get just one loop away from this corner that we have right here. So we're going to stop at this loop, and then I'll meet you guys back because we're going to be doing a half double crochet, increase, and then half double crochet into the body as well. Alrighty, so now that we've made it all the way over to this corner, we left the first available loop that's right into this corner right here, and then we're also going to be going into that last one. So all we're going to do is prepare for a half double crochet, and then go into that last back loop that we have for this bottom herringbone section. So we can insert, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3. And then this increase is actually going to be within these kind of loops that we have. We should have about 2 that we can go into, so you guys are going to have to just pick one. It doesn't matter which one you guys go into. We're just going to be going in with an increase of 3 half double crochets. So I'm just going to insert my hook into this one, and then we're going to go in with 1, 2, 3. Once we have that, we're going to prepare for another half double. Go into the first body loop, making sure we're going in through that back loop with a half double. Pull it tight so that there's no gaps, just like that. And then from here, go in with back loop singles going all the way down. And then once when we make our way up to this body portion, we are going to have a handful of side half double crochets to go into, and all we're going to do there is go into the first side half double crochet with 2 single crochets, next side half double crochet with 1 single crochet, and then keep alternating just like that until we hit our other side of our front panel over here, and then continue doing the same thing down here. So back loop single crochets, and then making sure we maintain this half double crochet, increase of 3, half double crochet, and then back loop single crochets all the way down to this corner, and then I'll meet you guys back. Once we made it all the way around with our row of single crochet while having our tiny little half double increases at this little corner that we have right here, now we're just going to be going in with rows of herringbone stitches for the lapel. But for this first row only, we're just going to be going in through the front loops, and we're only doing it that way so that the lapel can fold this way, opening towards our body really nicely. A lot easier than if we were just going in through both loops. And for this first row as well, since we're going in through the front loops with herringbone stitches, we're going to go all the way up until we get to the corner where our front panel meets our back, and then we're going to be doing an increase of 3 just to get a little curve just for this first row. Same thing over here in this corner, and then going all the way down with more front loop herringbone stitches, and then from there we're just going to keep going back and forth with herringbone stitches from there. So let's just do this first little bit together. So what we're going to do is do a chain up of 2. This is usual. We're going to prepare for a herringbone stitch, and then we're going to be going in through just the loop that's closest to us, so the front loop. We're going to insert our hook in through this one right here, yarn over, pull through, pull that first strand underneath our second, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2. We're going to keep doing this, just putting 1 into every loop, going all the way down until we meet this corner, and then we'll be doing an increase of 3. So we've just made our way all the way up doing front loop only herringbone stitches, and now that we are near this corner, what we're going to do is do a really quick increase of 3 into this next loop. So all that is going to be is just 3 front loop herringbone stitches into this next loop. So let's do that together. Here is our first. This might be a little tricky, so if you guys need to pull your second strand over your first, feel free. There is 1 into that same loop, 2, and then 1 more, 3, Once when we have that, we're going to go back across this back portion that we have with front loop herringbone. When we get to this corner, do another increase of 3 front loop herringbone, and do front loop herringbone going all the way down until we get down to this corner. And then from here, I promise it'll get a lot easier. We're just going to do a chain up of 2, flip our work, and do regular herringbones for as thick as we want this front lapel to be. So I'll meet you guys back once we get to the end of this row, and then we'll move on from there. Now that we've just made our way down with front loop herringbone stitches, where we did little increases into these corners where our front panel met our back, now it's going to be the fun part where it's just regular herringbone stitches. So let's just start that off together, and then we're just going to keep going back and forth until we have the size that we want for our front panel. So let's just start this next row off together really quickly. We're going to do a chain up of 2, flip our work, and just to do the first one together, we're going to prepare for a herringbone stitch. Insert, yarn over, pull through, pull that first strand underneath our second strand, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2. And once we have that, keep doing that all the way down, across the back, down the other side. Once we make it to the end, do a chain up of 2, flip our work, and then work our way back. And then keep going back and forth just like that until we have the size of the front lapel that we want. So this is what I have once when I have finished going in with my lapel. And these are just our regular herringbone stitches, not counting our first single crochet row. I have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 herringbone stitch rows. And just to let you guys know, that comes out to a total of 3 inches or 8 centimeters. And now that we have this done, we are actually all finished with our piece. The last thing that we need to do is just weave in all of our ends. We've woven in our ends, and this is our finished cardigan. This one took quite a few tries, but a few days later we pulled through, and I couldn't be happier with the outcome. There's a written pattern down below. Use offer code TCDDIY for a discount. Enter this week's pattern giveaway by telling us what you guys like more, tutorials or written patterns, and why. Good luck to everyone who enters. Also, give this video a thumbs up and let us know what you liked about it, but if you didn't, give it a thumbs down, but let me know how we can improve. If you love it, be sure to hit that bell so you know when there's new uploads for you, and also be sure to share us on Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram, and Facebook, links down below. If you want to buy this piece or any other piece on the channel, links to Poshmark, Depop, and Etsy are down there too, along with the tools used. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next one.